It appears the Vikings possibly have their new GM. Vikings, looks like they might have their new GM. It's not official yet, but Ian Rappaport's saying out that now the Vikings are going to be expecting to make a deal for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah now that Ryan Poles is going to the Bears.
Ryan Poles not coming to Minnesota for a second interview. It looks like he has accepted the job with the Bears. So now it becomes more of a negotiation than a second interview for Kwesi and the Vikings today.
Yeah, Kwesi's going to be going in there with the upper hand, as they say, because they only interviewed two guys. Well, they only interviewed one guy twice. Poles staying with the Bears, so yeah, he's got the upper hand. He's going to be asking for some cheddar, a lot of it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, when we make this official, I'm going to tell you, when we sign Kwesi, I'm going to have a messy in my pants. But let's go back to Ryan Poles for a second. A couple things here. The number one thing, there was rumors coming out that he was kind of tied to Dan Quinn and Todd Bowles as the head coach. Knowing that, did that make you want him a little bit less?
No, I was pretty big on Ryan Poles, but I'm over it very quickly. Yes, I would probably rather have one of the other coaches, but didn't make me want him less.
The other thing I think is worth talking about now, if Ryan Poles was the Vikings' true first choice, and now they have to settle for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, is this now going to be a regime built on, your second option, your second choice, not really the route they initially wanted to go? Does that kind of, I don't know, dampen things a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they knew something. Maybe they knew he was really leaning towards the Bears. I mean, why would they not put him first? Maybe Mensah was their first guy. I mean, maybe Adofo-Mensah was the first guy. That's why they scheduled his interview first. So I don't put anything in that. I mean, you look at Poles' situation. He looks at the Bears. They have like $34 million in cap space. They have a young quarterback. So have fun, Poles. I look forward to the Vikings smashing your ass twice a year for years to come.
Well, I like the way you worded that, smashing their ass. And yeah, I mean, let's start focusing on Kwesi now.
Poles. Come on now.
Yeah, you look at some of these names he's been associated with. It gets you very, very excited. With the Niners, Bosa, Samuel, Fred Warner. I mean, those just jump right out. George Kittle. He brought in Greg Newsome for the Browns. Jedrick Wills. So, I mean, the guy who's got some strong names tied to his name, and he's supposed to be this analytical, whatever, kind of a genius, really, or almost a prodigy. So it's going to be exciting when the Vikings make this official.
It will be, but I mean, we can look at the guys and everything he's done in the past, but this guy's a complete mystery. Young buck. His background is just like not the general that you see, or not the standard you see for general managers. So I think he's boomer bust. We've said it multiple times, but we can't even guess what this guy's going to do. I mean, look at the coaches he's been associated with. Shanahan with the Niners, Stefanski with the Browns. I mean, is he going to be all in on an offensive-minded coach now? I mean, we know nothing. We know nothing about this guy. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Well, reportedly, there's a better chance the Vikings go with Ryans or Raheem Morris now with Kwesi getting the job, or looks like he's getting the job. Who knows if that's true or not? We'll see if he brings in some more names. But this is very exciting. And you got to think, the Vikings narrowed this down to two. One of the major factors had to be how they answered what are we going to do with Kirk Cousins' question. They must have liked what Mensah had to say about that, because otherwise I don't think you call this guy back for question number 2 or interview number 2.
Yeah, no. And again, it's a big old mystery. I'd love to know what those talks were about. In fact, I'd appreciate if they brought me in and they're negotiating this afternoon.
That'd be nice.
I am free. I could make it happen. But yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited. I think just hitting on the coach thing, like you said, I think a big reason for that is they're younger coaches. I know Raheem Morris has been around the block, but we said this in a previous episode. Doug Peterson, a guy who wants to control the roster. I mean, he's not going to want to come here. These older guys aren't going to want to come here. They're not going to want to go into this unknown. They want a guy that they know about.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot on Twitter saying, do you really think a 60-year-old coach is going to have a 30-year-old GM? And I don't know how those two are going to mesh. It's kind of like oil and water. It's Vaseline and what's the shit old people put on their muscles?
Tugging. Vaseline and tugging.
No, it's
Ben Gay?
Ben Gay. I think it's like Ben Gay.
Still around?
I don't know. I was trying to think of. I think there's like a new version, BioFreeze, maybe what the young folks
BioFreeze.
use these days.
Well,
So,
let's look quick. The other coaches that the Vikings interviewed that are offensive minded, that I still think is definitely. I mean, that's all he knows for head coach. Kevin O'Connell, Rams offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and Nathaniel Hackett. Hackett sounds like he might be going to the Broncos, but never know. They could be bringing those guys in for another interview.
yeah, O'Connell's very intriguing, being part of that Ram staff, that Sean McVay tree. I like that quite a bit. Again, we both soured on Kellen Moore, especially after just hearing the noise out of Dallas with how everybody just doesn't seem to like him, and he gets a lot of the blame, which maybe is just an offensive coordinator thing. I don't know. We'll see. I expect the Vikings to make this official sometime later today. I would be shocked if they didn't. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, today, tomorrow, I mean, it's going to be him. It's got to be. But I can't wait till it's done, because that way we're going to see what happens with the coaches. But I still think that we could see some wrinkles in the coaches, because he's the GM. He should have some say in a coach. So we could see other second interviews lined up that weren't lined up before.
You got to think when they interview these guys, they probably got opinions on the guys they're bringing in, maybe some suggestions. So I do think these guys they interviewed maybe had a hand on who they brought in already. But you're right, though. Will they bring in some other names? Will Brian Dable finally get an interview? That guy's been MIA from just about everybody. Don't know what's going on there.
Giants want him so bad.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but be interesting to see what happens. So I expect something to happen today. I really do. I think we're going to hear the Vikings will have a GM. Finally, this process of the new regime is going to start taking shape and start having its own smell and texture.
And it's going to smell like Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Very excited. Let us know in the comments below how you're feeling about this GM. Are you really butthurt that Poles is going bye-bye? Let us know.
And we will be back when this is official. Mark our words right now. Remember this. We're waiting to make the Kwesi hiring official. Remember this little nugget of truth. Russia has more surface area than Pluto.